There comes a moment when something inside you breaks. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. You don't explode. You don't scream. You simply stop caring. It's not about anger anymore. It's about exhaustion. You gave too much to people who gave too little. You stayed when you should have walked away. You forgave when forgiveness wasn't earned. And now you're done. This isn't bitterness. This is clarity. You finally see them for who they are, not who you wanted them to be. The texts go unanswered. The calls stop mattering. Their presence no longer disturbs your peace because you've removed the power they once had over you. They expect a reaction. They're waiting for you to fight, to beg, to prove yourself. But you do something far more powerful. You give them nothing. No explanations. No closure. No second chances. Just silence. And that silence destroys them more than any words ever could. Because when you stop reacting, they realize they no longer exist in your world. That's when they feel it. The weight of their own actions. The consequences of losing someone who truly cared. You reach a point where you say enough and actually mean it. Not out of pride. Not out of spite. But out of self-respect. You realize that your peace is worth more than any relationship that costs you your dignity. This is the awakening. The moment you understand that walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. For too long, you believed that loyalty meant enduring disrespect. That love meant accepting betrayal. That strength meant staying when everything told you to leave. But true strength is knowing when to let go. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The people who hurt you don't deserve your energy. They don't deserve your time. And they certainly don't deserve the space they occupy in your thoughts. When you finally understand your worth, you stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop fighting for a place in hearts that have no room for you. And you stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces where you were never meant to belong. This is freedom. Power isn't in the loudest voice. It's in the calmest presence. The person who controls their emotions controls the situation. When someone wrongs you, they expect a response. They expect chaos. They want to see you broken, angry, desperate for answers. That reaction is what they're counting on. Because as long as you're reacting, they're still in control. They're still the center of your world. But the moment you stop reacting, the power shifts. Silence is dominance. It's the ultimate refusal to play their game. They throw accusations. You stay quiet. They provoke. You remain unmoved. They wait for you to break. You never do. This drives them insane. Because people who hurt you need your reaction to justify their actions. They need you to lash out so they can paint themselves as the victim. They need you to beg so they can feel wanted. But when you give them nothing, they're left alone with their guilt. No explanations means they can't argue. No anger means they can't deflect. No desperation means they can't manipulate. You become untouchable. Not because you're cold, but because you've mastered yourself. Epictetus taught that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. And choosing not to respond is the most powerful response of all. It says, "You are not worth my energy. You are not worth my peace. You are irrelevant." Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting people who don't deserve you control how you feel. There's a difference between being cold and being wise. Cold people shut everyone out. Wise people protect their peace by removing those who disturb it. Stoicism teaches that our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. Someone betrays you. That's the event. You obsess over it, replay it, let it consume you. That's the suffering. But you can choose differently. You can observe the betrayal without drowning in it. You can acknowledge the pain without letting it define you. Silence, in this context, is not revenge. It's self-preservation. It's the refusal to waste your life force on people who have already proven they don't value it. When you detach, you're not running away. You're standing firm in your own worth. You're saying, I don't need closure from you because I've already closed that door myself. This clarity is what separates the strong from the broken. The broken need answers. The strong create their own peace. Silence becomes your armor, not because you're hiding, but because you have nothing left to prove. You're not ignoring them to hurt them. You're ignoring them because they no longer matter. And that indifference, that complete emotional withdrawal, is what truly haunts people who thought they could treat you any way they wanted. Betrayal isn't the end. It's a passage. A brutal, painful passage, but one that leads somewhere better. Every person who walks out of your life makes room for someone better. Every lie you uncover saves you from a future built on deception. Every moment of disrespect is a reminder that you deserve more. The Stoics believe that obstacles are not in our way, they are the way. Betrayal forces you to grow. It teaches you discernment. It shows you who people really are when the mask falls off. And once you see clearly, you can never unsee. Walking away doesn't require drama. It doesn't need a grand speech or a final confrontation. It simply requires you to stop participating. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. You don't need to justify why you won't tolerate disrespect. Your absence is the message. Some people will never understand why you left. And that's fine. You're not leaving so they understand. You're leaving so you can heal. Revenge is loud, messy, and keeps you tied to the past. Growth is quiet, deliberate, and moves you forward. The person who wronged you is waiting for you to collapse, to fall apart, to prove they still affect you. Don't give them that satisfaction. Build yourself in silence. Succeed in silence. Heal in silence. And let your peace be the proof that you've moved on. That's the smartest destruction. Not tearing them down, but rising so high they can't even reach you. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. You will feel hurt. You will feel the sting of betrayal. You will have moments where you question everything. That's pain. It's human. But suffering is what happens when you refuse to let go. When you keep reopening the wound. When you let someone who's no longer in your life control your present. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The actual event hurt you once. But replaying it in your mind, obsessing over what you could have done differently, torturing yourself with what ifs, that's what destroys you. And that's entirely within your control. There will be relapses, days where you feel weak, moments where you want to reach out, to explain yourself, to get the closure you think you need. That's normal. But self-control is your greatest weapon. Not controlling others, not controlling outcomes, controlling yourself, your reactions, your thoughts, your choices. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you choose peace over drama, you win. Not against them, against the part of you that wants to stay stuck. The version of you that heals, that grows, that walks away with dignity. That's the version that survives. That's the version that thrives. Pain will pass. But the strength you build from enduring it in silence, that stays with you forever. You don't become unreachable by blocking everyone. You become unreachable by becoming someone who can't be shaken. Pitch your armor. Not the kind that weighs you down, but the kind that's invisible. Forged from every betrayal, every lie, every moment you chose yourself over chaos. People will test you. They'll try to provoke you, manipulate you, pull you back into old patterns. But you remain calm. Not because you don't care, because you've mastered yourself. You no longer seek validation from those who couldn't see your value. You no longer explain yourself to people who twist your words. You no longer fight for respect from those who never earned yours. This shift is internal. It's not about appearing cold or distant. It's about genuinely being unbothered. When someone who hurt you realizes you're no longer affected, no longer waiting, no longer hoping, they panic. Because they've lost their grip on you. And there's nothing more powerful than being emotionally untouchable. Not hardened, not broken, just whole, complete within yourself, needing nothing from those who offer nothing. That's freedom. That's power. The smartest way to destroy someone who hurt you is to let them watch you become everything they said you couldn't be. No revenge, no retaliation, just growth, just peace, just silence. Let your absence teach them what your presence couldn't. Let your success remind them of what they lost. And let your peace prove that you never needed them to begin with. Remember this. The best response to someone who undervalued you is to become invaluable to yourself. Walk away, stay silent, and let time reveal who truly lost.